Picture yourself in 1943, deep in the Pacific Theater. A soldier lies motionless in thick jungle undergrowth, practically invisible to the naked eye despite standing only 30 feet from enemy patrols. What allows him to vanish is not magic. It's nature's accumulated wisdom, distilled into fabric. During World War II, at humanity's darkest hour, military strategists made a startling discovery. The most advanced military technology wasn't forged in factories. It was whispered by leopards. It was painted on zebra hides. The Allies and Axis powers had unlocked nature's oldest secret, the art of invisibility, creating camouflage techniques so sophisticated they altered the course of the war, saved countless lives, and reshaped how we understand biology and warfare. Today, we uncover how the animal kingdom became humanity's greatest military strategist. Before World War II, military thinking about concealment was blunt and obsolete. Soldiers wore blocky uniform colors that failed catastrophically on actual battlefields. Commanders watched soldiers fall to machine gun fire despite wearing protective camouflage, and a terrifying realization dawned. Conventional thinking about concealment was dangerously inadequate. The catalyst arrived from above. As aerial reconnaissance technology advanced and precision bombing campaigns intensified, military planners faced a chilling truth. Targets invisible to ground observers were perfectly visible to pilots flying overhead. Entire divisions were spotted because of their shapes. Tanks left shadows. Cities glowed against surrounding landscape. Something had to change immediately. Military leaders made an audacious decision. They would not consult engineers or traditional military experts. They recruited artists, zoologists, naturalists, and designers, individuals who spent their lives studying nature's secret language. These camoufleurs represented a radical new approach to warfare, one grounded in biology rather than doctrine. To understand this revolution, we must first understand what nature had perfected over millions of years. The leopard's rosette patterns break up the animal's distinctive outline, making it merge into dappled shadows. The zebra's stripes serve as disruptive coloration, fragmenting the body shape into a confusing maze that predators' eyes cannot assemble into a coherent target. The shark, invisible from below, is dark on top and light on bottom, counter-shading, blending seamlessly with both darkness below and light above. These weren't random adaptations. They represented mathematical principles of perception and light. Pioneer naturalist Abbot Henderson Thayer had spent decades unlocking these principles. He understood that the eye doesn't see objects in isolation. It sees contrast, shape, and silhouette. If you could disrupt that silhouette, you could make something invisible. British zoologist Hugh Cott conducted rigorous studies of animal camouflage that directly influenced military planners. The scientific breakthrough was complete. Disruptive coloration worked, counter-shading worked, background matching worked. These survival strategies, forged through natural selection, were ready to be applied to human warfare. When conflict erupted, military command structures faced an unusual challenge. They needed to hire people who seemed least suited to warfare. British, American, and German forces assembled teams of artists, painters, sculptors, and naturalists. These camoufleurs didn't carry weapons, they carried sketchbooks, paints, and obsessive attention to detail. The Germans developed the splinter camouflage pattern, sharp, angular shapes mimicking broken light in forests. American forces adopted the frog skin pattern, featuring irregular mottled blotches resembling amphibian skin. Marines wearing this in dense jungle could stand mere yards from enemies undetected. The British Commando Denison smock featured hand-painted brushstroke patterns that blended seamlessly into varied European terrain. German forces in Russia applied whitewash over vehicles during winter, mimicking seasonal color changes in Arctic animals. Camouflage extended far beyond uniforms. British innovators in North Africa disguised tanks as simple trucks using wooden and canvas structures that completely altered vehicles' recognizable silhouettes. From aerial observation, these disguised tanks vanished. German forces adapted tactics by environment. On the Russian front, whitewash mimicked how nature itself conceals in snow-covered terrain. While disruptive patterns handled shape, another challenge remained: light itself. Abbot Henderson, Thayer's counter-shading principle, where animals dark on top and light below become nearly invisible because their coloration cancels out natural light effects, became foundational for aircraft camouflage. American and British bombers were painted with light-colored undersides and darker tops, dramatically reducing visibility when viewed against the sky from below. The Allies pushed further with the United States Navy's audacious Yehudi Lights project, inspired by bioluminescent counter-illumination in deep-sea creatures. In ocean depths, organisms emit light matching their surroundings, rendering them invisible to hunters below. American engineers adapted this principle for aircraft, fitting forward-facing lamps that match sky brightness when viewed head-on. Experiments demonstrated this active camouflage could dramatically reduce detection distances. By mimicking deep-sea creatures' invisible glow, human technology achieved the previously impossible. Not all camouflage was designed to conceal. Some sophisticated deception strategies operated differently. Create confusion. Dazzle camouflage, pioneered by artist Norman Wilkinson, and inspired by Cubist art, was applied to naval vessels, not to hide them, but to make accurate targeting impossible. U-boat commanders couldn't judge a ship's range, speed, or heading. The ship wasn't invisible. It was aggressively, defiantly visible, but its visibility was orchestrated chaos. The Allies orchestrated massive phantom armies in North Africa, complete with inflatable rubber tanks, dummy trucks, and fake supply depots. These fooled reconnaissance pilots and strategists, reading aerial photographs, drawing enemy resources away from actual forces. At its most sophisticated, camouflage had evolved from simple concealment into a comprehensive deception system, manipulating enemy perception across multiple scales. The effectiveness of these innovations was measured in lives saved and battles shifted. In the Pacific, Japanese forces struggled detecting Marines using frog-skin camouflage until too late. In North Africa, disguised tanks penetrated enemy territory before revealing themselves, creating tactical advantages. Germany's splinter pattern and Russian adaptations extended operational effectiveness despite increasingly desperate circumstances. Modern military uniforms worldwide, actually bear direct genetic lineage from those 1940s patterns. Pixelated camouflage, well, it represents the evolution of disruptive coloration principles. Stealth technology in aircraft and naval vessels is, at its core, fundamentally rooted in counter-shading and light manipulation. The F-22 Raptor's radar-absorbing design, interestingly enough, marries modern physics with those deep ocean principles that inspired the Yehudi Lights project. But legacy extends beyond military application. Urban planners are, increasingly understanding concealment through ecological camouflage. Wildlife conservation, too, utilizes these principles. Even industrial facilities are starting to incorporate natural concealment strategies. The principles that nature refined over millions of years and then translated into military practice have honestly become fundamental to how humans interact with landscapes and visibility. The war taught an enduring lesson. When we look to nature not as something to dominate, but to learn from, we access innovations that, frankly, human innovation alone could never achieve. The animal kingdom solved camouflage through millions of years of ruthless refinement. The moment military strategists listened, recruiting artists and naturalists who understood that language, they unlocked capabilities that, well, changed warfare forever. Today, as we face challenges in surveillance, privacy and security, we really should remember the answer might just come from watching how a leopard disappears into shadow or how a shark vanishes into the depths. Nature has quietly and brilliantly perfected the art of invisibility. The hidden knowledge of history reveals secrets shaping our world today. If these stories of survival, strategy, and nature's wisdom captivate you, then, subscribe to Ancient Edge to unlock forgotten discoveries and timeless lessons. Share this video with fellow truth seekers. The past is calling. Join us in uncovering the edge separating visibility from invisibility, the known from the yet to be discovered. Ancient Edge, where history comes alive.